Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. A little Sunday vibes. We're going to get into some stuff on X. Who should be or who will be the next SEC chair, considering what we just heard from former President Trump? We'll talk about that. John Deaton is all over Elizabeth Warren. I mean, nonstop, not letting go. We told you guys he's a pit bull. Not letting go. And listen, we're gonna talk a little great taking. It's a little Sunday vibes, a little Sunday hangout. We're gonna talk from property rights owner to entitlement holder. What happened? What in the world happened? We'll get into that as well. Interesting time to be an early adopter in this new asset class that is the digital asset space. Interesting time to be early in the space. I mean, Sentinel Alumnus News. I did a video I did a video in the wee hours in the morning, like 5:30. I've been up since like 2:45 in the morning. Did a video. Not a lot of people saw the video. I don't understand it. Not a lot of people saw the video. So I wanted to do a live stream today as well. Gonna hang out with Miss Crypto C's. I think I'm gonna go to the bookstore or something and check out some books. She's been on Miss Crypto C's has been on a lot of reading spree, man. She's just reading book after book. Bubba Smith is in the building. How are you, my friend? Afternoon Siege watching here in the background. Appreciate you checking in, my guy. So we're gonna go, I think we're gonna go to the bookstore and get some more books, even though we just got some by way of Amazon. Closes at 6 o'clock. Okay. We can go to Barnes and Noble. There's a bookstore in Georgetown, closes at 7. Okay. Price books. Interesting. Any case, there it is. So who is going to be the next SEC chair? MetaLawMan has a choice. He's picked someone he thinks could serve the agency well, and obviously the digital asset holders do them good also. I listened to an interesting video with Gary Cardone again today. I'm going to play some of that, Bubba Smith. This dude has an interesting perspective that I think we all should listen to, and you don't have to follow, but listen to, gain a different perspective from someone who's, in the top 1% of 1% in the entire world, right? So should probably take a little listen, take some lessons from that dude, learn some more stuff about what's going on. The market's doing what it does, fam. I mean, the numbers are in and it's doing what it does. Bitcoin again, it's at 68,000 again. What are you going to say? It's at 68 again. It's at 68 again. So anyway, dollar cost average strategy and the Bitcoin continuing. And Solana, Bitcoin and Solana continuing. And definitely understanding that given all the things going on, I think, we're right on with leveraging these altcoins to get more Bitcoin in the crypto Caesar's home. That's what we're doing, not telling anyone else to do that. But that's looking like that is the strategy. It's the only way to have a shot at earning, hundreds of Bitcoin. I think that's the only shot at it. And I don't know how many cycles we got left to really leverage that strategy. This one, next one, maybe the next one after that. In any case, that's kind of how I'm thinking, and that's kind of where we are for sure. So interesting time, again, I think, to be early in the space and to think that Bitcoin is really just starting, which means this asset class is really just starting. It's fascinating for sure. Very, very, very fascinating. I'm working on this goal for how many BTC, we're going to have in a crypto Caesar's home. I hope, something you guys might consider as well. What does that look like? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 5, 10? Is it 100? I don't know. It's hard to say. For sure. Is it 100, 200? It's going to be interesting to see. We'll get into that also, because I think that's important. But yeah, I wanted to share something here from the book, The Great Taking. I want to share that with you guys. A lot of interesting stuff going on in X for sure. But let's go over the numbers real quick while we're waiting for people to check on to the live stream. Guys, do me a favor and hit that like button on the way in. That'd be super, super cool. We would love to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. And please don't hesitate to comment in the stream and comment in the replay if you got any questions about the great taking or any questions in general, especially if you're interested in creating cash flow and DeFi. Hit us up in the comments and we'll connect with you guys for sure. But let's go over these numbers. Let's go over the freaking numbers according to CoinGecko and see what is good. The market, again, family, is just doing what the market does. Let's see what CoinGecko has here. I checked this earlier. It was 68K for Bitcoin, and it's still, yeah, 68K. So according to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap is down, 0.3%, 0.3. It's currently at 2.54 trillion. 2.54 trillion. If CoinGecko has the Bitcoin dominance at 53%, what is it really? It's generally, it's 1 or 2% higher, really. Bitcoin is currently trading at $68,153 again, and it's up 12.8% on a 30-day. Just interesting stuff. Ethereum is trading at $3,266. It's down 3.8% on the 30-day. Solana is trading at $184. And it's up 31.5% on this 30-day. Interesting stuff. XRP is trading is at 60 cents. XRP is at 60 cents. And on the 30-day, XRP is up 26.9%. I'm going to do my usual Solana ecosystem plays and see how they're doing. Let's see. So I said Solana. Where's the next play? Dog with hat at 45 is up 25% on the 7-day. It's number 43. I'm sorry, 43 in total the currency market cap. 43 trading at $2 and change. Again, it's up 25% on a 30-day. Bonk, another meme coin in the Solana ecosystem, is up 24% on a 7-day. Number 52. Interesting that Bonk is up that high. Jupiter Exchange token, holy smokes. Let's go. Up 41% on the 30-day. Interesting stuff, right? So you got Bonk, you got WIF, you got Jupiter Exchange and Solana. 2 meme coins, 2 real stuff. In the top 63. Big time gains in the 30 days. I don't know if it says anything. I don't know if it means anything. Kind of feels like it, though. It does kind of feel like it. Ondo, one of our RWA plays. Okay. Again, it's below $1. Interesting thing. Interesting stuff. So that's the market, fam. It is doing what it does. I'm going to go over a couple of things on X before we get to the stream and say hello and welcome the folks in. Tyler Winklevoss had this to say, and I think it's interesting. This is a few days old. He said in June, Cameron and I were invited to a crypto roundtable in D.C. with the White House in attendance. 2 weeks later, we were disinvited because we publicly endorsed Donald Trump. The Biden-Harris administration did not want us there and refused to attend the event if we were present. While this is totally their choice, it perfectly captures this administration's unwillingness to sincerely engage with our industry beyond paying lip service. If you are truly looking to engage with our industry after waging war on it for the past 4 years and understand its points of view in earnest, then certainly you would want to hear from and welcome the most vocal and critical voices, the people who have been most negatively impacted by your policies, even if their minds are made up. That is how you get real signal and perspective for self-reflection. It's interesting. It really is interesting. I'm going to cover another thing here on X. So I did a live stream, Bubba Smith. I mean, live stream. I did a video last night covering Balaji's post on the Trump speech. This guy went out of his effort to timestamp everything, and he provided a transcript. I went over this in a video, and like no one saw the video. It's like less than 100 views. I highly recommend you guys go check out that video. I think it was titled Trump Delivers Epic Message at Bitcoin 24 or something like that. Yeah, it was very alarming. Maybe it's because I put Trump on the thumbnail. I don't know. But this is a really, really good thread. And man, that message was epic. Epic, epic, epic. And I also went over in that video. You guys should definitely go check out the video. I went over Senator Lummis's proposal for the Bitcoin reserve, the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. It's already written up. Caitlin Long is going to tell us about that here in a few as well. It's already written up, already done. She had actually a little bit of input in it from her perspective, from the Federal Reserve perspective. So interesting. I mean, come on. Let me see if I can find a video. And yeah, let me see if I can find it. Channel dash, yeah, that'll work. I'll get the link for you guys. Trump delivers an epic message. Yeah, like 85 views. What the world's going on? It's unacceptable. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't get that link for you guys. It's only 35 minutes. It's a video recording and not a live stream, but absolutely worth it. And it was in the wee hours of the morning. It was like 2:45 a.m., something around that line. I mean, I had been up since that time. And I said, I have to share this. I was supposed to be going back to sleep after dropping Miss Crypto Siege off to the airport. What's GYT? What's GYT, my guy? Joe says we watched this somewhere else. Yeah. So this was not. Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe people thought that I was just streaming the thing itself, but it wasn't. It was kind of my view and take, actually, Balaji's view and take from the speech. I watched it. What's his name? Did a live stream. Who's the young guy in the XRP community? Zach Rector. I watched it with Zach Rector and his people there. Yeah, this is kind of my view of it and Balaji's view. Balaji, very smart. Very, very smart. Joe, what's up, my friend? Joe said I watched Trump's speech. It was great. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, I got you. Bubba. So a lot of people might have been thinking, well, I already watched it, and you're just kind of like live streaming it or whatever. I got it. Yeah, I got it. That makes sense. But boy, Balaji, I mean, he did a great job. Time stamped everything. So it's just really great recaps and transcript. So I went over the transcript. I went over timestamp, and I went over Senator Lummis's bill. That is interesting. Senator Lummis, because I ended the video with that was the game changer for me of the whole event, was Senator Lummis' introduction of that bill. To me, that was the game changer. All right, so we covered a couple of things on X. Did you guys see her talk about her bill? I'm going to go over this thing here with John Deaton. I think the great taking is probably, I mean, it's a Sunday vibe, so we're just going to hang out and talk anyway, but I do think that going over a couple of things from the great taking is important. I'm going to do my part for sure to educate as many people as possible what is actually in play in this great taking, this theft of your assets is in play and is legally has been made legal to happen. So Altcoin Daily put this out. Breaking: 27 Democrats sign a letter to the DNC demanding an end to anti-crypto policies of Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. So John reposted that. John said, I and 75,000 token holders, including 627 holders from state of Massachusetts, proved that Elizabeth Warren was on the wrong side of the law when a lifelong Democratic federal judge appointed by President Obama agreed with us and cited my efforts in the Ripple XRP case, which is the SEC versus Ripple case. I predicted that if Grayscale or others sued the SEC, similar to how I did, they would win as well. He did do that. He did say that, and Grayscale did do that. They would win as well. After Grayscale sued, the Court of Appeals ruled the SEC's denial of a Bitcoin spot ETF was arbitrary and capricious. In other words, the appellate court ruled, in essence, that the SEC needed to grant the Bitcoin spot ETF. Despite that ruling, Elizabeth Warren argued that Gary Gensler and the SEC should defy the court's order. Defy the court's order. The SEC chair should do this and not grant the spot ETF. Elizabeth Warren's complete lack of respect for the law is utterly shameful. Senator Warren claims to be for the poor and middle class, yet wants to ban an asset class that could help lift people out of poverty and expand prosperity. The good news, change is coming, says John Deaton for Senate. I hope you guys get a chance to go to johndeatonforsenate.com and give what you can. Any little bit helps for sure. She's got the super PAC going on his side as well. But this part here that could help lift people out of poverty and expand prosperity, this was essentially echoed in the Elizabeth Warren bill for the Bitcoin reserve. It's interesting. Let me get back to the chat and see how many of you guys actually saw Lummis. All right. Bubba Smith said, no, he didn't get to see that. Crypto first. Lummis isn't pro crypto. She's a BTC maxi. Yep. That's true. A lot of BTC maxis, but it doesn't matter because the industry is the industry, and she can be a maxi. She can be a maxi. Freaking any one of them can be a maxi. Doesn't really matter. The industry is not going to go away, in my opinion. Country first. Yeah, it's not going to matter as long as she's not putting something that is anti-crypto, right? In other words, if she doesn't vote for Fit 21 when it comes up for vote, and she's like, we don't need the Fit 21, we don't need to, delineate between a commodity and security and who's going to rule over which one. Yeah, she's not doing that. For sure. Matt LaRoche is in the building. Matt LaRoche says, SEC chair, question mark. Brian Brooks will get my vote. I hear you, Matt. I hear you. We're going to go over MetaLawMan's choice. I'm doing outstanding, brother. How are you? We're going to go over MetaLawMan's pick for the new SEC chair. James Murphy. Yeah, it was interesting choice. Very, very interesting choice. Joe Buddy said, did those 27 Democrats vote to repeal Fit 21? Great question. I don't know. Like, I don't know. We have to keep our you know, we got to pay attention because we want to make sure that they don't start putting stuff that, starts going before Congress that is Bitcoin only. We gotta pay close attention to that. Bit21 really does a great job of embracing the industry and the technology innovation. So we gotta, just like Patrick McHenry said, let's pay attention to Fit21 and see how it goes or it doesn't go. Country First, I appreciate you checking in, my friend. More monkey business. I missed you checking in. What's going on? Larry from BlackRock will be the next chairman. Oh, goodness gracious. Of the SEC? Oh, boy. That'd be interesting. I wonder if he would want that gig. Yeah, I wonder if he would even want to be chair of the SEC, I wonder about that. So let's go over some more stuff on X before I go into the great taking. You guys know, I don't know if you were all here, but Matt, I discovered that Coinbase is actually involved and has, not involved, but they have disclosed that they are part of the whole Article 8 and Article 9 of the Uniform Commercial Code, and that your digital asset wallet is subject to the Articles 8 and 9, and that they only act as an intermediary, if you will, of those assets that you leave there. And I think to myself, why is crypto? But if they're technically a brokerage. I'm going to share that Coinbase thing. And I only discovered it because I was curious about what is Coinbase's verification. Why are they promoting this verification of your wallet on chain? Like, why are they doing that? I can't wait to interview Gary Cardone. I'm going to have him. He's going to be the first person I have on the channel for interview after we hit 10,000 subs. I want to see if he's familiar with the great taking and if he thinks it doesn't matter. It's very interesting. Very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see that. Yeah, it's very interesting that it's in the Coinbase thing, but they are technically like a brokerage, not an exchange. But it was interesting to read that for sure. I mean, all right, let's go some more X stuff here real quick. So anyway, this is Balaji. This is the same Balaji who gave us a great rundown of the Trump speech, the first fair fight. It's obviously a joke, kids. A parody, just like the JD thing, which X didn't censor. So what's the problem? The problem is that the Democrats are so used to having total cloud supremacy, total information control. So this is a political statement from him. So I don't really want to read that. But it's not red versus blue thought, is it? It's the state versus you. How the government works: break your legs, sell your wheelchair, tax the wheelchair, regulate the use of the wheelchair. Yeah. Break your legs, sell your wheelchair, tax the wheelchair, regulate the use of the wheelchair. It assures you that without government, you wouldn't be getting around so well. Yeah, nicely done. Nicely freaking done. So Pelagie is definitely on the political front with some stuff. I'm telling you, this Pelagie dude, I'm telling you, if you watch that interview with him and Raul Paul on the channel Raul Paul, the Journeyman, interesting. Here's Fred Krueger, the guy who's kind of really promoting the power law that Giovanni created. It says this about the Trump speech. Interesting. I rate the Trump performance a B-. Pro, he mentioned a strategic reserve. He agreed to free Ross. He said he would get rid of Warren and her goons. He said he would end Choke Point 2.0. He said he would defend self-custody. Cons, he kept mentioning crypto. Yeah, that's what I did when I did the video yesterday, that I put the link in there for you guys. I kept mentioning the fact that he kept saying Bitcoin and crypto, and I thought that was a great thing. I think it was a smart thing. He didn't quantify any buying program. I don't know what that means. He was an hour late. They kept talking about a special guest who never showed. Yeah, I don't know. Was that Trump though? But I don't know if Trump was talking about. But this Fred Krueger guy, he has a YouTube channel, interesting perspective on Bitcoin. I just watched him with an interview on Altcoin Daily. Interesting guy, smart guy, I think, but definitely. And he's really not a maxi because he holds other things, like he has NFTs, but he's primarily he's one of these 8-9 figure exit guys who decided to put the majority of his wealth into the asset BTC. So interesting guy there. Let's see what else do I have with X here. So here's MetaLawMan. He this is where I got the question from James Murphy. Shout out to James. I hope you're doing well. Who should be the next chairman of the SEC? He says the correct answer is Paul Grewal, General Counsel of Coinbase. He's a former federal magistrate judge, law degree from the University of Chicago, MIT trained engineer. Getting a brilliant lawyer plus engineer as chairman who understands both crypto and AI would be a huge win for the country. He goes on to say, I don't know Paul personally. Hester Peirce would be a solid second choice. Yassine says Brian Brooks. MetaLawMan says Brian Brooks is the correct answer to who should be the next Secretary of the Treasury. Secretary of the Treasury. Now that's interesting. So I covered I did cover this one as well. All right, so let's get rid of some of this stuff here. And we're going to go over some stuff from the Great Taking. Because I think it's hugely important to understand. All right, so let's go over the Coinbase discovery, shall we? Let's go over those discovery. This is user agreement. User agreement. This is under the user agreement. And I was here, on-chain -verify. You can see up here, it says on-chain verify. Let me see here. You guys have probably seen this to see if it will work. Oh, page isn't working. Why? But anyway, that's where I was. I was on Coinbase.com, on-chain verify. I don't know why it's not working. Let me see something there. That's not working there. But I saw it. Oh, you see it right here. It says get verifications, right? See it on the right there? Unlock on-chain experience when you verify your wallet. You can hit verify now and do da-da-da. And before you got to click a couple boxes. One of those boxes was a user agreement, and that took me over here. So I'm like, let me click on that and see what this user agreement is about. Let's talk about different things. There's fungibility of certain digital assets. Talks about some protocols that excluded from, holding Coinbase liable. If it's it's a meme token protocol, then, Coinbase can't be held liable, that kind of stuff like that. It says here, digital asset custody and title. All supported digital assets held in your wallet are custodial assets held for your benefit as described in further details below. Then it talks about the ownership. Title to the supported digital assets shall at all times remain with you. The title does with you and shall not transfer to Coinbase. All interest in digital assets we hold for digital asset wallets are held for customers, are not property of Coinbase, and are not subject to claims of Coinbase's creditors, right? Sounds good. Sounds good, right? You keep reading, and we're going to get to an except as required by law. The same way it's written in the Uniform Commercial Code, Articles 8 and 9, that those exceptions as required by law. So anyway, you're reading this and you're thinking, okay, good and cool, right? It says assets we hold for digital asset wallets are held for customers are not property of Coinbase and are not subject to claims of Coinbase's creditors. As owners of the supported digital assets in your digital asset wallet, you shall bear all risk of loss of such supported digital assets. Coinbase shall have no liability for supported blah, blah, blah. None of the supported digital assets in your digital wallet are the property of or shall or may be loaned to Coinbase. Coinbase does not represent or treat assets and user digital assets as belonging to Coinbase. Coinbase may not grant a security interest in the supported digital asset held in your digital asset wallet, except as required by law or except as provided herein. Always the exceptions. And then provided herein is the application of the Uniform Commercial Code. All supported digital assets credited to the digital asset wallet will be treated as financial assets. Financial assets. They start changing some terminologies around. Financial assets, except as otherwise provided, means a security, an obligation, or a person or a share, a participant, or other interest in a person or property, or an enterprise of a person, which is or is a type dealt in, traded, and whatever. Any property that is held by a securities intermediary for another person in a securities account. So remember securities intermediary, remember securities account, and remember financial asset. If the securities intermediary has expressly agreed with the other person that the property is to be treated as a financial asset under the article. Article 8. Okay, all supported digital assets credited to the digital asset wallet will be treated as financial assets, quote unquote, under Division 8 of the California Uniform Commercial Code, which is the same as the UCC. It's just California's kind of version of the same thing. Coinbase is a securities intermediary, as used in Division 8 with respect to supported digital asset, and your digital asset wallet is a securities account. Securities account. It makes those assets technically be placed in a securities account, and thus in the securities account, this thing can begin to gain control under these credited, what do they call it? Secured creditors who are not you. Who are not you. Okay, so I said that. Here it is. At securities account as used in Division 8, as stated in Division 8, the characterization of a person or transaction for purposes of this business does not determine the characterization of the person, business, or transaction for purposes of any other law or rule, including the United States Commodity Exchange Act and federal whatever act. Coinbase will comply with your instructions with respect to your supported assets subject to the terms of this user agreement. As soon as they said financial assets and securities intermediary, and that your account, your digital asset wallet, is now a securities account that puts you and your assets under the Uniform Commercial Code, Articles 8 and 9. Massively important to understand that. See here? Priority among security interests and entitlement holders, except as otherwise provided in subsection B and C. If a security securities intermediary does not have sufficient interest in a particular financial asset to satisfy both its obligation to entitlement holders, that's us, who have security entitlements to that financial asset, and its obligation to a creditor of the securities intermediary who has a security interest in that financial asset. B, a claim of the creditor of a securities intermediary who has a securities interest in a financial asset. That's your stuff. In other words, your stuff are beholden to Coinbase, and Coinbase is beholden to somebody else. And they have the legal right to your stuff, not Coinbase, and certainly not you. Right? It says, otherwise provided in subsection, except as otherwise provided in subsections B and C. For a clearing corporation that does not have sufficient financial assets to satisfy both its obligation to holders who have security entitlements with respect to a financial asset and its obligation to a creditor of the clearing corporation. So in the end, all of these people are beholden to the ultimate secured creditor, which is the private central banks and the owners of the private central banks. I'm going to share something from it was something called the Legal Certainty Group and the Federal Reserve, the Council from the Federal Reserve of New York. And it was a questioning and answer. The Legal Certainty Group was essentially a group that was developed and put together by the central bankers and their people, and to kind of get to this point. They hired some people to change the laws in 1994. Yeah, it's a good back and forth. I'm going to share that with you guys as well. Matt LaRose says, wow, tying into the great taking, not too big a stretch, that's for sure. Yeah. Matt LaRose says, yeah. And then they're going to debase the whales here. So you're left with just one wheel stuck in your... Indeed. What's going on, Yosef? Yosef says, more wordplay like yesterday. Yep. Yeah. Matt LaRoche is like, lucky I only have like 11 cents worth of XRP on Coinbase. And so, but I do find it interesting. Remember, Uphold is not different than Coinbase, just to let you guys know. Uphold is not different than Coinbase. Gary Cardone says, look, you guys got to recognize something. They have decided on the people who are going to work on their behalf in terms of these exchanges. And he said, listen, Coinbase is the one that they have selected. So that's BlackRock. That's BlackRock. BlackRock has decided that it's going to be Coinbase. You just read in that user agreement there that your stuff is not your stuff. And it's not because of a crypto thing, not your keys, not your crypto. It's not just that. It's the UCC code that the Coinbase operates under, which says that you're only an entitlement holder of those assets. This is why we say on the channel, JR, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. And it feels like this verifying your wallet on chain thing. I don't, you have to agree to this user agreement to verify your wallet. Think about that. If you agree to that user agreement, they're going to have access to the wallet and everything you have in that particular wallet. And by the way, they give you some options of wallets. Yeah, you can use your MetaQuest wallet. Yeah, you can verify your MetaMask wallet. Yeah, you can verify your Coinbase wallet. Yeah, you can probably verify your Ledger wallet. Just check this user agreement that gives your property rights away to them. I mean, what the freak is going on? I mean, think about that. Let me share this little back and forth with you guys here. I downloaded the free PDF, and it's important to kind of get some context here. I'm going to give you some context. Let me find the back and forth first. I'm going to share some key facts. These are the key facts. Ownership of securities as property has been replaced with a new legal concept, a security entitlement, which is a contractual claim assuring a very weak position if the account provider becomes insolvent. All securities are held in an unsegregated pool form. In other words, they're pooled together. All the assets, all that paper stuff pooled together. Securities used as collateral and those restricted from such use are held in the same pool. All account holders, including those who have prohibited use of their securities as collateral, must by law receive only a pro rata share of residuals. You know, the scraps that's left. This is what happened in the chapter 11 bankruptcy with Celsius. Revindication, i.e., the taking back of one's securities in the event of insolvency, is absolutely prohibited. Account providers may legally borrow pooled securities to collateralize proprietary trading and financing, despite what Coinbase say they're not going to do. It says that they may legally borrow pooled securities to collateralize proprietary trading and financing. Safe harbor assures secured creditors priority claim to pooled securities ahead of account holders. Coinbase is the account holder. Somebody above them is the account holder. I mean, it is the secured creditor, rather. The absolute priority claim of secured creditors to pooled client securities has been upheld by the courts. In April of 2004, the European Commission Internal Markets and the Secret and Services Director General proposed setting up a group of legal experts as a specific exercise intended to address problems of legal uncertainty identified in the context of considering the way forward for clearing and settlement in the EU. Okay, and they named this group the Legal Certainty Group. Let me share this. I want to give some context. So just remember the Legal Certainty Group, and that the European Commission decided to put this group together, and under the guise of creating legal, clarifying legal uncertainty. That was the hoodwink. That was the bamboozle. All right. So here it is. This became the Legal Certainty Group. In March of 2006, the Deputy General Counsel for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York provided a detailed response to a questionnaire prepared by the Legal Certainty Group, which was looking to the Fed to tell them exactly how to do it. The following are excerpts from that response, which is also included in full in this book's appendix. But here it is. Question from this EU Legal Certainty Group. In respect of what legal system are the following answers given? In respect of what legal system are the following answers given? This Deputy Counsel for the New York Federal Reserve of New York says this response confines itself to the U.S. commercial, by the way, U.S. and another Another nation were the first to sign off on this, implement this, come up with this, whatever. They were the first. EU came later. All right. So it says this response confines itself to the U.S. commercial law, primarily Article 8 and parts of Article 9 of the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. The subject matter of Article 8 is investment securities, and the subject of Article 9 is secure transactions. Article 8 and 9 have been adopted throughout the United States. Question from the legal certainty rule. Where securities are held in pooled form, i.e. a collective securities position rather than segregated individual positions per person, does the investor have rights attaching particular securities in the pool? The answer from the New York Fed is no. The security entitlement holder has a pro rata share of the interest in the financial asset held by a securities intermediary. This is true even if investor positions are segregated. So even if your stuff doesn't get into this pool, still doesn't matter. Question. Is the investor protected against the insolvency of an intermediary? And if so, how? An investor is always vulnerable to a securities intermediary that does not itself have interest in a financial asset sufficient to cover all the security entitlements that it has created in the financial asset. If the secured creditor has control over the financial asset, it will have priority over entitlement holders. Remember, Coinbase is just an intermediary. In the long tail of it, there's a secured creditor. And because since these assets are legally allowed to be pooled and borrowed, they are in the possession, technically, of the secured creditors who are not you and I. These are the owners of these central banks and private central banks. Those are the ultimate secured creditors. And it goes back to the Bank of England, that central bank. If the securities intermediary is a clearing corporation, the claims of its creditors have priority. You know about any clearing corporations? DTC, DTCC? They have creditors. They have secure creditors. The DTCC. If the securities intermediary is a clearing corporation, the claims of its creditors have priority over the claims of entitlement holders. That's you and I. What rules protect a transferee acting in good faith? Article 8 protects a purchaser of a financial asset against claims of an entitlement holder. In other words, you cannot sue. It's that revindication thing that I read. The taking back of one's securities in the event of an insolvency. Article 8 protects a purchaser of a financial asset against claims of an entitlement holder to a property interest in their own freaking financial asset by limiting the entitlement holder's ability to enforce that claim. How are shortfalls, i.e. the intermediary's position with an upper tier intermediary is less than the aggregated recorded position of the intermediary's account holder handled in practice? The only rule, says the Fed Council, the only rule in such instances is that the security entitlement holder simply share pro rata in the interest held by the securities intermediary. In actual fact, shortfalls occur frequently due to fails and for other reasons, but are of no general consequence except in the case of the security intermediary's insolvency. Does the treatment of the shortfall differ according to whether there is no fault on part of the intermediary or if fault, fraud, or whatever? It says in terms, says the New York Fed says, in terms of the interest that the entitlement holders have in the financial assets credited to their securities account, regardless of fault, fraud, or negligence of the securities intermediary, under Article 8, the entitlement holder has only a pro rata share in the security intermediary's interest in the financial asset in question. You only own a pro rata share of your stuff, divvied out amongst the millions of people that are pooled, and tens of millions probably pooled. He goes on to say here, that's how it works, directly from the horse's mouth. The most authoritative source possible, lawyers working for the Fed. Further exposure of the purpose of the invention of the security entitlement can be found in the discussion paper concerning legislation on legal certainty of securities holdings and dispositions prepared by the European Commission's Directorate General Internal Markets and Services. Where security is concerned, the standard has always been that a custodian has to hold sufficient securities in order to meet blah, blah, blah. So that's a little excerpt from the European Union, which is basically this group, the European Commission's Director General Internal Markets, which is later named the Certainty Group, the Legal Certainty Group. It's interesting. Highly recommend you guys get that PDF and read that thing. It's free to download a PDF, and then if you want to order the book and get the real thing, if you want to get the real thing, you can just, it tells you right there on that site to get the book. It's interesting. Just wanted to cover that with you guys. You know, little Sunday vibes, little Sunday hangout. I can't encourage you guys enough to listen to that, to read that book, for sure. You know, what's going on, JR? Interesting. Now, I'm going to play a little bit part from Gary Cardone today. I was listening to him. Again, I just don't know if you can listen to people who have had huge success prior to.
I was very single at the time.
Getting into this space, and just some thoughts from them as a different perspective, you know, get some well-rounded views. Let's see here.
$4 trillion. All
right.
It's a $200,000, $200,000 Bitcoin price. All right, but so on this $200,000, because we're looking at Bitcoin as I'm going to kind of throw an idea out there to you, the value that I see in it. At $200,000 Bitcoin, what's a $35,000 coin if you're physically holding it? And in 3 years, Bitcoin every month is trading at around 200 grand. What is a call option worth? In the money call option, 200 grand. 200 grand. You can pull my physical. I am offering physical wallet to wallet. What is your price for call option in the money at 200 grand? Like, you know what those are going to be? You're going to get paid $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. Okay. You cannot do this with oil. You can't do it. You can do it with a piece of paper, but it's a piece of paper. This is like, I think it's going to have so many capacities to produce yield without any third-party credit risk. Right? Like, you're going to have to pay me for the option. Like, for instance, what would a $50,000 call option be January 15 for you? Okay,
Quite a bit, yeah.
I'll price it right now. Like I'm not putting it into a model, but you look at it. I had this exercise the other night with somebody. I said, we're on, some talk show or something. I said, hey man, like it's $40,000 call option. It was, I think, 38. What would you pay for that? I said, I don't know how to price that. I said, I'll pay you $2,000. He said, well, I'll pay you 1,000. I said, well, I'll pay you 2,500 right now. Okay, so I'm at 2,500, but I'm not offering it. Like I'm a bid. I have no offer for you. Okay, because I think this thing could rip your face off, dude. I think it could rip your entire, skeletal. Like it'd be a predatory moment, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, we just lift up the entire carcass.
Yeah.
No one's seen this kind of market before. The energy traders that are coming into mining, they're going to arbitrage the absolute fuck out of power prices and money. They're not going to be like Mr. Pure Miner. They don't care. I mean, I'm talking to one of them right now. Guess where he came from? The Enron Dynegy era. Okay, 60-year-old guy, been in markets. He's building mining on a whole arbitrage. It's not about the price of Bitcoin.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, he'll be selling options, in-day options. It's truly fascinating. I mean, and to be able to like be at ground level, I think this is ground level. What happened 15 years before this? I think that you didn't even need to participate back then to be relevant. And you can almost tell by the people that are like, the adults are getting ready to take over this market. Like, and you can see people showing up. And then you should ask, why are all the gray hair guys showing up? Why are all the guys with 30 and 40 years experience? I mean, these are some not dumb guys. I do not consider myself a dumb guy. I've done this so many times now. Like, this is the cool thing. I'm old enough now. I've had enough experience. I can make a monster allocation to this space, but I don't do it to, like, I'm talking about life-changing, altering, right? Either way, if I'm wrong, it's going to be life-altering. If I'm right, it's going to be life-altering. Most people won't do it that way.
Right.
But my only advice to your community is, hey, if you're going to do something like that, get completely stuck with Bitcoin and be in the money, and then take some money on the side. Do not commingle this money, okay? Because as soon as you commingle it, you're a junkie. You're going to turn your crown into a piece of shit over here because you're going to try and solve a problem when your Dogecoin gets collapsed. But have a little gambling book. If you're a junkie, go have a little gambling book. I mean, cool, right? But don't commingle it with the Bitcoin position.
Gotcha.
And write down hey, I am marrying this Bitcoin for the next 5 years, and I am not going to commit adultery.
Right.
This is your vision. This is your relationship with this asset class. And then this stuff over here, these are my date girls on Saturday night when I'm.
Cardone, out of control. He has an interesting way of seeing things. Very, very interesting way of seeing things. I'll put that link to that video if you guys want to. I listened to the whole thing, but it's an hour and 20 minutes. It's not very long, but I just think that for a perspective, I think it's hugely important. If you can get the perspective of someone who was massively successful before they entered into crypto, and get their perspective as to why they entered and why they're, 80% or more of their net worth in this asset class. I think it's completely different. I was listening to Anthony Pompliano today. He's talking about what's going on in Texas and how Texas is looking to massively leverage land and old oil rigs for Bitcoin mining. This is the thing apparently going on right now. This is the thing in Texas right now. It's like again, that's just the reason why, in my opinion, it's just the reason why Donald the Donald Trump, he kept talking about an industry. Gary Cardone just said that this 60-year-old guy from Enron is coming into this space and he's going to be doing mining on a different kind of way because he sees an opportunity with the energy and the cost of electricity and all. Yeah. I didn't hear that, but I heard that it was I heard Eddie say he had most of his net worth in there. I didn't hear any number. He also says you heard John Deaton say yesterday that he has 82% of his net worth in Bitcoin. And again, I think people get hung up on the asset and they're missing the foundation, these first principles for saving and investing and saving. They're missing the first principles, I think. I even heard Raoul Pal said this. Okay, Raoul Pal is a global macro trader, successful trader, great at charts and coming up with different global macro views. Again, and I think it's important to give this context. He got into Bitcoin after his research and his charts, got into Bitcoin, it 10x'd. And he was like, okay, I'm good. And he was out in the fiat. A few weeks later, it 10x'd again. And he said, I was kicking myself. I didn't understand it. He went back into his room, dark room with the boards and the charts and whatever, and said, it looks like Ethereum is outpacing Bitcoin this time. The network adoption is greater, it's faster, it's more wallets, blah, 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 blah. Ethereum is the play. He took the dirty, nasty fiat because he's a trader, discovered the bottom of Ethereum, put it all into Ethereum. He put the 10x into Ethereum, and he said he added to it as well. It killed everything. Killed everything. He was able to pick that very, very bottom for Ethereum. Killed everything. Took all of that and said, what's the thing that's outpacing both Ethereum and Bitcoin? Let me look at these charts. Okay, I see it. It's Solana. When's the bottom for Solana? Did it at Solana as well. $17, I think. I think that's 16, $17 is his average price. But he's a global trader. You and I are not doing that. We're not going to pick the very bottom. So just understand the context when he says this. Why would I own Bitcoin when I could own Solana? He's done the charts. He has the charts. He knows the greater ROI, risk-adjusted return. He knows he can pick the bottom because he's picking it all the time. He knows he can chart the thing that's outperforming Ethereum like he did with Solana. And so coming up next, he knows that he's going to be able to chart the thing if there is a thing that outpacing Solana, because that's what he does. He's a global macro, not a day trader, not a swing trader. But he has the access to that kind of stuff. You and I won't. You and I won't. Fred Krueger said, unless we join his stuff, and then he does give his calls. He does give his trades. Fred Krueger, who was another, I think, 8 and 9 figure exit kind of person. I know at least 8 figures. He said yesterday in a video I was watching, Fred Krueger was like, with Altcoin Daily, he was like, this is, if you got 10,000, you're probably, in the alts because you can get the better returns. If you got 10 million, you're not in alts. You're in Bitcoin. You're going to take that 40% year over year risk adjusted return. You're going to be good with that. Because prior to that, with your 10 million or your 40 million, you were getting 8, 10, 12, 15%. If you were lucky, you were, right? That's the difference. That's the difference. That's why I say in the Crypto Caesars home, we're getting back. We're getting back to that ethos in 2016, early 2017, even early 2017, where the ethos was, you know why we're holding these altcoins, right? You know why we get these altcoins, right? Why? So we can get more Bitcoin. But what happened in the 2017 bull run ending in 2018, the gains were so crazy that everyone except for the Bitcoin people forgot that ethos. These ICOs and all these other things, and everyone's thinking this ICO is going to give me the 6-figure percentage gain, that 5-figure percentage gain, and just became enamored with that. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because for us in the Crypto Seizures Home, we're going to leverage these altcoins, understanding what they are, right? We're in the minutia, like Dan Tapiero and Anthony Scaramucci say they don't have time to be in. So they're Bitcoin and ETH, right? And I think one of them is just Bitcoin, right? They don't have time for that minutia. So they don't, right? But they're in the millions game. They're in the millions game. They don't have to be going down the risk curve, right? So the alts is about getting the millions, right? So that you can get more Bitcoin. So you can get more Bitcoin. And then for the next 20 years, you can take 40% year-over-year return on your millions. You understand? That, to me, in the Crypto Seizures Home, that's our play. Understanding what we're going to get from these alts, understanding we're in the minutia, we're in DeFi, we're on the spaces, we're in the Twitter spaces, we're in the Discords, we're watching video after video after video, we're on X, we're doing our homework, excuse me, we're doing our homework, we're doing our due diligence, we're taking the calculated risk. But we're doing that because we're in the minutia. Gary Cardone ain't getting in the minutia, man. He doesn't know the things that we know. Dan Tapiero is not either, and he's got a hedge fund. He can't expose his investors and ask them to take some risk on Hedera Hashgraph or Constellation or new Layer 1 Caspa or SUI. All these great technology. He can't ask his clients to do that. Why would he do that when he's giving them a 40% return on their stuff that they've never had? That they've never had. Well, they can just park 10 million or 15 million or 20 million. They can just park it 1 million, 3, 5. They can just park it 40%. They're good. They don't want to be going down a risk curve, but we can't. We're in the minutia. But again, here's the thing that I try to tell my buds. I try to tell my dudes this all the time. Look, I get it. I get it. 5 figures percentage return. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold that and then get 100% year after year after year. You got your 5-figure percentage return. Let's just say that you got a 5-figure percentage return on Jasmy coin. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold Jasmy the next year and tell me that after the cycle, after the bull run, in the bear, you got 100% return. You're not going to be able to do that. There's only 3 right now netting 100% or higher. There's only 3, Yosef. Only 3. It's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, and it's Solana. That's it. Not XRP, not Cardano, not Polygon, not Maker. We love these things. I mean, Polygon was massive win for us. But the goal is, in my opinion, in the Crypto Seizures Home, the goal is, what's the valuable asset that I can keep accumulating and is returning year over year 100%. So 95% of our stuff is in those. And then we got 5 to 10% in the other stuff that we done our homework on, like AI plays and like RWA plays, and a little teeny bit of meme coins. Like I think we got 2 or 3 meme coins. You understand? That's what I'm saying, that I figured out. For me in the Crypto Seizures home, that is the play. Because I believe that just like we have a FANG or we have the Magnificent Seven in TradFi, we're going to have that in the digital asset space. Those 5, 7, maybe 10 that can do that return for 10 years. Bitcoin is charted out for the next 20 years, according to the power law, to return 40%. Big money is good with that, because they're already at big money. For people who aren't at big money, they got to figure out a way to get up that thing. The way to get up to that is doing your homework, doing due diligence, understanding the minutia, getting in the weeds to learn the plays that can give us those returns. But after you get those returns, you have to then throw in the year-over-year return. After you get the X, the 3X, the 5X, the 15, the 20, the 50, the 100X, then you got to say, okay, if I hold this, I'm only going to cash out some little lifestyle chips. If I hold Jasmine Coin and only cash out a certain percentage for lifestyle, is it going to give me next year 100%? Or am I going to make 100% on that money that I just got to win? If not, if you don't have a certainty of that, if I don't have a certainty of that, I have Jasmine Coin. The chances for me right now is that I'm not getting 100% return. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the thing that has proven for 2, 3, 4, or 5 years to give that year-over-year 100% return. Why gamble when I don't have to? That's all I'm saying. Why gamble when I don't have to? I was lucky enough, I was blessed, right, to get Matic, blessed, get that at the 004, right, blessed, right? I was blessed to do that. But it didn't net after that. It didn't net that return. I did even worse. I put it back into stuff that had even less than what Matic was returning, like XLM, stuff like that. That was worse. I didn't understand. I didn't have access to resources. I only discovered this 40% for Bitcoin, and it was higher than that. I think it was 100%. It just changed to 40%. It used to be higher. I didn't understand Ethereum was at 100% and the Solana was at 250 or 300%. And the only way I was able to do that is I popped my head outside of the XRP bubble and started listening to other people and discovered this. I started listening to people who were multimillionaires with access to resources and dealing with tens of millions and billions of dollars. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions. I started listening to those folks, not the thousandaires. I started to listen to those folks who had that kind of wealth and access to that kind of wealth before they entered the space and figured out what are they doing? I started listening to people that got 3 and 4 and 5 houses. What did they do? All over the world. Spain, Miami, right? Croatia, all over the world. What are they doing? What's their strategy? Not listen to the thousandaires talking about how slow and inexpensive Bitcoin is. Not listen to the thousandaires talking about the Ethereum gas fees. Not listen to the thousandaires saying, well, you know, these layer twos and all that, but it's not really anything. I had to learn on my own that it's not about the 20x. It's about what happens after the 20x. Right? You take 1,000 and you turn to 20,000. How do you compound the 20,000? And what most people in crypto were doing was taking the 20,000 and going further down the risk curve, looking for another 20x or 30x or 50. That's what they were doing. That's what I discovered. That's what I discovered. That's right, Joseph. Yes, that's how we learn. Got to get information from successful people and see how they keep their wealth. That's exactly right. Exactly. And then, God willing, and he's willing, we'll be in that 10, 20, 40 million, right? And we'll just be parking stuff, taking interest off it, and be good with 40% return on it. Be good with that, right? And then we'll better understand asset allocation, all those kind of things. So in any case, there it is, fam. I appreciate you guys checking in. That's right, Joseph. If you can 5 to 7x your millions every 4 years, that's good enough. Right? The idea is the risk-adjusted returns. The idea is not just getting the wealth, it's keeping the wealth. You got to know those strategies instead of keep constantly hunting for these 20, 30, 40, 50x, 100x's, and putting the capital that you got, your 5 to 7x, putting that at risk, chasing the 30, the 20, 30, and 40x. That's the mistake. That's the mistake that I made, and I'm pretty certain that's the mistake that the vast majority of people in crypto are making, because we forgot the ethos. A lot of us were here in 2017. We forgot that ethos of, we got these altcoins to get more Bitcoin. A lot of people kept thinking, well, why are we doing that? Remember the Bitcoin thing, it's the saving. It's that saving, and it's that year-over-year return that the Bitcoiners don't talk about, by the way. They rarely ever talk about it. Anthony Pompliano, maybe whoever his partner is, I think Mark Yasko, maybe. But the rest of them don't talk about it. They don't point it out as an attribute, oddly enough. It's only the people that were successful outside of crypto and came into crypto already hugely successful that bring it up. It's because that's the way they think. That's the way they've operated. That's how they are able to manage billions of dollars in hedge funds, because that's how they operate. You make your millions and your multi-millions in Bitcoin. You were blessed to be there in 2011 or 13. You're not really thinking about it. You're not thinking about it. It never dawns on you to mention that. I really appreciate all you do, Crypto Seeds. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that, my guy. And I appreciate you guys checking in for sure. I'm going to hop off here and see what my little Miss Crypto Seeds is doing. We're supposed to go hang out. I appreciate you guys checking in. It's been a really cool hang, a Sunday vibe, just hanging out, talking some stuff. I encourage you again, go to the site, thegreattaking.com with 2 T's, one for great and one for talking, right? 1 T in the word great, 1 T in the word talking. So it's 2 T's. Thegreattaking.com. Download the PDF, decide for yourself, read the prologue, decide for yourself if you want to get the book and continue reading the PDF. I promise you it'll change your life on how you think. And this mantra of if you can't hold it, you don't own it, it will begin to resonate with you and you'll make some changes. You'll make some changes. I'm convinced that the 401ks and the TSPs and the mutual funds, it's all like playing Russian roulette. It's just, hey, I can get out before that thing happens. Hey, oh, I can get out before it happens. I can get out before it happens. That's what it is. It's a Russian roulette thing. I can get out before it happens. So glad I found this thing about freaking Coinbase. Oh my God. All right, fam. There it is. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you didn't do so on the way in. Do so on the way out. That'd be super, super cool. And again, if you happen to be in that 45% of people who are hanging out, listening to and watching the crypto season, haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, especially if you've been enjoying the hangouts. We want to get that number down from 50% to about 25%. And you can do your part to help make that happen. We're on a march to 10,000 subs as fast as we can so that we can begin to do these next level interviews. All right, fam. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all my live streams and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this, perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.